Hello there, YouTube. Today's video, we're gonna show you how to test the engine thermostat cooling valve, which is this one right here, which goes on the oil filter assembly on a Volvo D13. And then this is a piston cooling valve that goes on the bottom side of the engine oil filter housing vertically, and this one is horizontally. So what we're gonna do is, the first thing you wanna do is you wanna check the connectors, make sure that the connectors are in good condition, no wires are cut, rubbing or anything. You wanna make sure that they're not frayed, damaged, and that they're securely fastened. And the next thing you wanna do is you wanna check the resistance on the connector, on the wires that go to the ECM. And there's a specific resistance on that. And in my particular situation, it was 10 milliohms. That's what the resistance was on the engine oil thermostat valve. That's what the resistance was on the connector from this connector to the ECM on the computer. So I'm not exactly sure what the exact measurements are, but that's what the reading was on my particular situation. And then on the valve itself, you want to check the resistance, make sure that it's not, too low or shorted out or too high or whatever. And I wasn't sure what the resistance should have been, but I noticed that it was off and it was throwing a code on the display, which is a SPN 4813, and I was getting a FMI 3, which says it's shorted out. And the piston cooling valve, which is this one, it wasn't throwing a code for that. But they're both, around the same age. The truck has 524,000 miles or so right now. So, these components do fail. They don't last forever. And, they have an important job to do, and that's to open a valve, let oil through, so that's, a lot of heat and everything. So you can't expect these to last forever. It's just an item that eventually wears out. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you how we can check the resistance on these. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get a multimeter, turn it on and set it to ohms to measure the resistance. And let me set this here so I can try to do this one-handed. And then this is the connector. This is the engine oil thermostat valve. So we're going to check the resistance on this one. Now this is the one that's bad. And around 2.7 ohms is what I'm getting out of this one. Fluctuates between 2.5 or so. It's pretty low. I'm not exactly sure on the exact measurement, but I ended up buying the new one, and the new one is this one right here. This is the new one that I purchased at Volvo, and the part number for that is this one right here, which is 230-13323. This is a updated new part number for that. Now let's check the resistance on this new one. Now the new one has a lot more resistance. It's going about 10, 10.8, 10.7. So quite a bit of a difference from the old one to the new one. That's gonna definitely impact the function of the valve and how the ECM, like what it tells this actuator or this motor to do. Another thing that I noticed on this one that is not, that shouldn't, I don't think is the uh, I don't think is the correct thing, is that this connector here, you see this? I can spin this around on the housing. That can't be good, you know? And another thing was that I noticed that there was oil seeping through here. There was oil seeping all the way around on this connector. So that can't be a good thing either. And here's the piston cooling valve. This one, I can't turn it. This is the old one. I can't turn it. We'll check the resistance on this one so I can show you what that one is. And that one is still good. It's not throwing me a code for that. But we're going to check the resistance on this one. Let's see what this one is. This is the old one. I bought the new one and the old one. I bought both of them new. You know, might as well. It's only 2 more screws and pull it out. This one's measuring 11.2 ohms. See? So significantly higher than the bad engine oil thermostat valve, which was around 2 something, close to 3. Now here is the resistance on the new piston jet cooling valve. This is a new one that I purchased. I'm gonna install it right now in a little bit. Let's measure the resistance on this one. Around 10.7 or so, 10.8. You know, that's up there. You know, it's significantly higher than the 2.5 ohms that I was getting on the bad engine oil thermostat valve. And another thing I wanted to mention is that the engine oil thermostat valve, this one, which is this one right here, which is this one right here. Oh no, sorry, this is the piston one. The engine oil thermostat valve, which is this one, it's actually located on the engine horizontally, like this, you know, like sideways. This is how this one sits. It's on the oil filter housing, and it's very hard to get in there, and it has a slot. You see this little flat part right there? That goes down. That's facing down. And it should only go in one way, and you have to, when you're putting it in or pulling it out, when you're taking it out or pushing it in, you have to be very careful, because when you're pulling it out, it's going to be very hard. You're not going to be able to grab this with your hand and just pull it out. There's a lot of like suction. There's like a big vacuum there that you have to beat. You have to overcome it, you know, so you have to try to get a little bit out of it, and then carefully get a flathead screwdriver or something and like gently work it around to get it out.